1990 marks the second season of the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series, and today will determine the Canadian Championship. The series' inaugural year saw London, Ontario native Russ Erlin take the championship honors with a commanding lead. Erlin would go on in the '89 season to take the overall ACT Championship, the first Canadian to attain this prestigious goal. 1990 saw the return of five-time ACT champion, Georgia, Vermont native Robbie Crouch to the racing grid. Crouch, an accomplished and formidable racing opponent, currently in a tight battle for both the GM and ACT series lead. In the tight battle with Crouch is Oshawa, Ontario native Randy MacDonald. The Canadian contender will have the opportunity to claim the GM Motorsport Canadian Championship. The final GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series Canadian Championship race, the GM Motorsport 200. The GM Motorsport Hour, brought to you by General Motors of Canada Limited and by Quality GM Parts, Priority Courier, and Sony of Canada. The drivers, the teams, the spectators are greeted by beautiful weather at the new Mosport International Speedway for the 10th and final round in the GM National Stock Car Championship for 1990. Over 30 cars and drivers have entered into this championship final. A capacity crowd have gathered to witness the crowning of a new champion. In the series standings, Oshawa native Randy MacDonald holds a slim 19-point lead over American Robbie Crouch. Quebec native Jean-Paul Cabana, who's looking for his 499th career victory, has a slim chance from his third-place series standings to claim the crown with a victory today. Earlier today in qualifying heats, point leader Randy MacDonald finds himself starting 10th and in the 5th row. The GM National Stock Car Series, with a purse of $500,000 within the $1.75 million American-Canadian Tour, is one of two titles that MacDonald is seeking. He also leads the ACT title chase. It'll be determined later this month. Second place, former five-time ACT champion Robbie Crouch is determined to claim a 6th title. He's battled fiercely all year in his attempt to strengthen an already impressive record. Crouch qualifying 19th, he'll start on the 10th row beside the defending GM Series champion Russ Erlin. Meanwhile, newcomer Wayne Williams out of Oakville, Ontario, takes the pole position and attempts to play spoiler in today's final. Welcome to Canada's newest racing oval. It's Mosport International Speedway here in Ontario. I'm Jim Paulson. We're ready for the final round of the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series Championship for 1990. It's been a war all season. Dave Moody, our co-host, joins me, and the war will continue today, David.
Not much doubt about that. It's going to be at least a two-car battle right down to the wire. Randy MacDonald has the lead, but his closest pursuer, Robbie Crouch, whittled into the lead just a bit in qualifying.
Every speed here has been a record, obviously. They haven't had this fast equipment on this track before.
No, indeed, and these drivers have really taken to the half mile. The lap times are way down, the speeds are way up. It's going to be a great show.
What do you think, David? Pit stops will be the key here today, maybe?
No question. 200 laps, a long way to go. No one will go the distance on the same tank of gas. Everyone's going to have to stop sometime, but when do you do it? Do you stop early, lap 50, 75, give yourself plenty of time to come from the rear again, or do you wait till later when there's fewer cars on the racetrack?
The weather is ideal. The crowd is here. We are ready to go, and with more on the race, let's go to Michael down at pit row.
This is what it's all about. This is a GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series trophy. 1990 is the second year, and the two gentlemen who will be vying for this here today, Randy MacDonald and Robbie Crouch. Randy MacDonald, tell me what your thoughts are here today in front of a hometown crowd.
Well, we're pretty much all set. It's only minutes away, and you know, we've had a tremendous year this year, and we'd like to thank AC DELCO for the sponsorship, and you know, we're going to give it our best. I think this time handicap's going to work in our favor. As you know, we start these races with a handicap system, and we're going to get the start right up front. We'll get up front, hopefully get 5 bonus points for leading a lap, and leave it up to Robbie to try and run us down.
Robbie, you're going to try and run him down? This is what it all comes down to here.
It really does. I really want to win this race. It'll be a feather in my cap. The points, you know, I mean, it's going to be tough to beat Randy. He's got a good lead on me in this series. I'd have to have a really smooth day and him have some problems, and I'm not going to wish that on anyone. So we got to look at the race and see what the best we can do in the race. It's 200 laps, so it's a long race. Anything can happen. Really got to protect your brakes here. I don't know. Let's go find out.
Gentlemen, good luck today. Shake hands and come out fighting.
fighting in the finale of the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series and its debut, in fact, at Mosport International Speedway here in Ontario. As the field move away, David, let's have a look at the grid lineup here at Mosport today.
Starting side by side in row number 1, rookie driver in the GM Series from Oakville, Ontario, Wayne Williams. Outside from Montreal, Quebec, Sylvain Metivier in the LUMINA Racing Chevrolet. In row number 2, the Chadwick Bayross Chevy Lumina, car number 77 for Andre Beaudoin. Outside from Ottawa, Ontario, Alan Long in a Buick Regal. In row number 3, Robbie Thompson, the rookie driver from Owen Sound, Ontario. On the outside, starting 6th from Brampton, Ontario, Bill Zardo Jr. in the Powertrain Chevrolet. Row number 4, Dan Beede of Barrie, Vermont in a Buick Regal, car number 53. Outside from Norwood, Ontario, young Derek Lynch in car number 15. To row number 5, the Maritime champion, Rollie McDonald from PICTOU, Nova Scotia. And starting 10th from Oshawa, Ontario, Randy McDonald, the AC DELCO Buick. In row number 6, Claude Leclerc from Montreal and the 55, Dave Lebrec. Row 7, Bill Zardo Sr. and the defending Rookie of the Year on the American-Canadian Tour, BUZZIE BEZANSON. Steve Monroe and Kevin LePage in row 8. Row 9, Roger Leperle and Jean-Paul Cabana. Starting side by side in row number 10, Robbie Crouch and Russ Erlin, two of the top threats this afternoon. John Greedy and Wayne Keeling, two of the local Ontario drivers in row number 11. Row 12 to Mike Bricknell and Dave Taylor. Row number 13, Dennis Robertson and Ron Robinson. Starting out back toward the tail end of the field, Bill Snowden and Ron Sauter in row number 14. 15 goes to Ron Benjamin and Steve Knowlton, the 1990 Rookie of the Year.
Field moving away beautifully. They appear to be in fine order. Robbie Crouch, I would think, with an advantage back in that 10th row, but they've got 200 laps to run, and they come down for the green flag.
Wayne Williams off the inside pole position gets the break as they head for turn 1. Sylvain Metivier second. Williams well out of shape in turn number 2, gathers it up and holds on to the lead.
Boy, Williams bobbled dramatically there, but he's got it back in proper order as he brings it back up to corners 3 and 4, comes through neatly.
And Jim, a bit further back in the pack, the heavy hitters are beginning to move up. Let's go trackside. You're in the driver's seat with Randy McDonald, the GM Motorsport point leader. He started 10th. He has already gained 2 spots, tucked down into that low groove right on the back bumper of Claude Leclerc and the Auto Pro Racing Chevrolet.
Hey, they got a great crowd here at Mosport today, and this crowd is on its feet. We got a lot of the Canadian contingent. They're leading at least off the top here, David.
Well, 200 laps is a long race, but it doesn't look like anybody is holding back. One car down on the inside, perhaps you can see the number 53, that red car, Dan Beede. He and Robbie Thompson in the black number 09 have really taken off at the starting gun. They have picked up 2 or 3 positions apiece already, and their cars are glued right on the bottom of the racetrack.
Wayne Williams dominating, 82. Sylvain Metivier still sitting in second place, and a little stronger second this time down the front straight.
Randy McDonald down the front straightaway, still tucked in line behind the number 11 of Claude Leclerc. McDonald running at about the 9th spot. Whoa, a couple of cars getting together right in front of McDonald. Leclerc's number 11, the 76 of Al Long with a bit of bumper car tactics. And Randy McDonald with his first anxious moment of the afternoon.
Not sure what's happening with Wayne. He seems to have a definite advantage on the straightaways. Field bunch up a little bit more on him when they get into the corners, especially around 1 and 2. But then they spread out again. Oh, a little action further back here, David.
Once again, that's Dan Beede in the red car, number 53. He really is bulling his way through the pack. He gets to the inside of Robbie Thompson. That's the position number 4 now for Beede as he is really moving in right on the back bumper of Andre Beaudoin.
Wayne Williams continues to run away, and look at Beede coming on again like gangbusters. He's carved his way through this field. He wants to get up here with the front runners and show them who should be in charge.
Well, Dan Beede just a few weeks ago lost virtually everything when his transport vehicle, his trailer, burned to the ground on the way home from a race in Nova Scotia. Beede has regrouped. He has not finished out of the top 10 since, and here he comes for 3rd place on the inside.
And I think he's going to get it, David, as he comes back into quarter 1. No question. He squeezes in there, and now the fight is for 3rd. And They were side by side.
Right behind Rollie McDonald in car number 13, follows Beede's lead to pick up the number 4 position. Dan Beede, the former Vermont State Racing champion, showing well here in the early going, but at the front of the pack it continues to be Wayne Williams in the 71.
A marvelous, clean start to the action today, and now Beede gets beaten away. No, he's going to hang on to it through corner 2.
Dan Beede once again down on that inside line, running very well here in the early going, and again Rollie McDonald is right there to follow him through. So now it's Wayne Williams, the leader, Dan Beede in second, Rollie McDonald third, Sylvain Metivier all the way back to 4th place.
I get the feeling here that Rollie is still trying to find the correct line. He had a little bit of a bobble. We're watching Wayne, our race leader, here one more time, totally in charge.
Whoa, Dan Beede gets around. Rollie McDonald tried to get inside the 53 car, some contact made, and Dan Beede, who had been running second, sits down on the inside of turn number 2, and the caution flag is out.
First yellow is out in our finale here at Mosport, and that means the field will remain in order. Here's our race leader coming down the front straight. No problem with him whatsoever. He'll hate the fact the field has to bunch up now, but let's have a look at this again, David.
Well, there's 2 drivers fighting over one piece of real estate. Rollie McDonald put the nose inside of the 53. Dan Beede gave him just a little bit of a bump, and that was all she wrote for the hard charger from Barre, Vermont. Beede started 7th, made his way quickly to 2nd, but that's all for naught now. He'll have to go all the way to the back of the pack.
Almost got the feeling Dan Beede was waving a fist there for a moment as he corrects the car, brings it around, weaves it back and forth. He is not going to dive into pit row at this point. Wayne Williams out of Oakville, Ontario, still the race leader. Rollie McDonald in second. This is a hot one, and we'll be right back. We're just about back on green on the 11th lap for the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series finale at Mosport International Speedway. They've got the green, and will Rollie hold on to it into corner 1?
Wayne Williams inside, Rollie McDonald outside, blows him away with a burst of horsepower, goes way high in the corner, but Rollie McDonald in that Chevrolet Lumina hangs on, and he takes over the lead.
The man from Nova Scotia grabs the lead here. The man from Oakville is now beaten out of 2nd place, in fact, and screaming by Alan Long of Ottawa.
Alan Long in the Stagra Automotive machine. A good day for black cars here in the early going as they run 1, 2, and 3. Alan Long has looked very strong in selected appearances on the GM Series this year, but right now the man going backwards is Wayne Williams. Andre Beaudoin, the 77, moves around him for 3rd. Williams is going backwards. He may have a problem with that car.
Rollie McDonald in charge, and pretty well totally in charge of the restart. Again, another nice, clean, neat restart here, but the Wars are back for like 3rd and 4th spot, and now Randy McDonald makes a move.
Randy McDonald down on the inside of Andre Beaudoin takes over the number 3 position. So McDonald, who had the good starting spot today, wasting no time getting to work and getting to the front. Here's Bill Zardo Sr. to the inside. The 46 machine down low on Andre Beaudoin. Zardo goes to 4th.
So there's Randy McDonald, 0-1. He wants this one today if he's going to grab a championship, and he's looking good early in this 200-lap run. Oh, a yellow out, David.
Caution flag is out, and it's for Wayne Williams. Williams' car has shut down, running very slowly on the back straightaway. It appears he may have a cut tire. There's also some fluid down on the racetrack. Let's look at that pass for the number 3 spot once again. Andre Beaudoin in the 77 going just a bit high. And that was all the opportunity Randy McDonald needs. He puts the AC DELCO Buick down in that low groove at the start-finish line, and it's just about over now because that inside lane in the corners is definitely the place to be.
So Randy McDonald with a marvelous textbook move. In fact, just gets a little down on the apron there, but enough to put this young man currently very strongly in 3rd spot overall. I'm sure it's where he wants to be at this stage of the run, David.
As the Speedy Dry crews go to work in turn number 1 on that fluid, Randy McDonald said earlier he would like to get in front early, lead a lap to get that 5-point bonus, and he's en route to doing just that. Here's Wayne Williams on pit road.
Had a nice start right off the top today here at Mosport, but it is in fact that rear left-hand tire that's going to be replaced, and we'll have Wayne back out here in a moment, but he'll be at the back of the pack.
Wayne Williams in only his third start of the season on the GM Motorsports Series, having a good run, but he'll have to go to the rear now. Rollie McDonald and Al Long in row 1 for the restart. Then Randy McDonald and Bill Zardo Sr. Green flag is out and they're away. Drag racing into turn number 1. McDonald down on the inside. Goes way high on the track. Here comes Randy McDonald down for the lead.
Randy makes a beautiful move. Certainly Rollie scared off Alan Long with that one, but in the meantime, Randy is taking advantage, and Long comes out again. He's not afraid of McDonald at this point.
Oh, bumping and grinding, they touch. Whoa, Alan Long bounces off the Claude Leclerc machine, just misses the inside retaining wall. A couple of cars spin to avoid him, and we are back under the caution flag.
Okay, a couple of other cars involved in this incident as well, but without much hesitation, Alan Long spins that around. He wants to get back in the war here. Let's get another peek at this. Look at the way Rollie gets right up there, and Randy takes advantage.
Well, Rollie McDonald has had his problems with turn 1 and 2. His car pushes way high, and Randy McDonald in the 0-1 is right there to take advantage. This was quite an adventure for young Alan Long in car number 76. Very nearly got into the back end of Rollie McDonald. Now, if you watch as they get to turn number 3, Alan Long says, well, maybe I can follow Randy through, take second place away. Rollie McDonald has other ideas as they get to turn number 3. The King Freight Line's car number 13 will try and shut Alan Long down. They bump and grind, and I think we'll see a little rear end action from behind by Bill Zardo as well. Now here's McDonald. You can see him pinching down in the corners, try to hold Alan Long off. Long in the 76, all 4 wheels down below that white line, and indeed he gets a little bit of help from behind from Bill Zardo Sr. Long does a nice job controlling it, bounces off the 11 of Claude Leclerc and spins to the inside. Leclerc had a handful as well to keep the number 11 pointed in the right direction.
So the Zardo kiss certainly did not work in Long's favor, but even at this point, you know that he has got enough adrenaline flowing and wants to get right back in the battle here. Meanwhile, though, up front, it's going to be Randy McDonald beside Rollie on the restart.
Here they come down to the line looking for a green flag. Randy McDonald down low, Rollie up high, across the line they go, and the green flag is out. Keep an eye on that inside line. It certainly should have the advantage as Randy McDonald comes away. Bill Zardo underneath Rollie McDonald, the 46 looking for second.
You know, Zardo Sr. is not going to give up on this one now. He is most determined, holds in. He's not going to give away that inside. He does not want to let Rollie barge in on him, and they continue side by side up to corners 1 and 2.
Now, Rollie McDonald, this ought to be interesting. He has not handled turn 1 and 2 very well. Oh, again, bumping and grinding as Rollie fights his way back down into that low groove, bumping the 11 of Claude Leclerc. Rollie McDonald gives up 1 spot on the restart. Randy McDonald the leader in the 0-1. 46, Bill Zardo Sr. in second. Then Rollie McDonald in the third spot, followed by Bill Zardo, Andre Beaudoin, and Robbie Thompson.
Now we have Zardo right up on Randy McDonald, trying to size him up here as to whether he may or may not have a go at Randy. Looks like he may try it here in corners 3 and 4. He goes for the inside.
Zardo down low, but way down underneath that white line. That's a tough place to run. Can't challenge there. You know, Michael talked earlier with Randy McDonald about racing in front of the hometown crowd, but Bill Zardo's on home territory as well. He'd love to get that first ACT win here this afternoon.
Fact is, for the Canadian fans here at Mosport, they are having a heyday. This Canadian crowd are looking good. Obviously, they're excited about being back here on home ground.
Well, right now, the Canadians are running extremely well. The top 7 positions all come from north of the border, as the Canadian drivers running extremely well here in the early going. There's Robbie Crouch, started back in 19th. He now has blasted his way up into that top 7. He's taken a couple of spots away and now runs in the 5th position. So
well,
Randy McDonald, keep an eye on that rear view mirror.
Daya the Butcher has been carving away at the meet here today, and he has made a marvelous charge from the back of the field. This man also wants a championship here today, and you know he's going to be a factor before this day is over.
Here's a challenge for the number 2 position. Rollie McDonald fighting back to the inside of Bill Zardo Sr. McDonald has it back. Zardo sticks it back in line. Right behind him, Claude Leclerc.
You know, Leclerc, well, of course, he was he had a good run at CNE a little earlier in Canada, and looks like Leclerc has not lost that enthusiasm as yet. He still wants to be a factor here, and he really is mixing it up a bit.
Let's take a look at it once again. Zardo getting beaten on braking that time, going into turn number 3 as Rollie McDonald dives down to the low side, and that black car number 13 takes the spot away. And watch Zardo now with a quick left-hand corner to cut Claude Leclerc off before he can take away the 3rd spot.
Here we watch ROLLIE McDonald again in 13. He is, I don't know, waiting for the storm to approach on him. In the meantime, he's not getting too much ground on our leader here, 0-1, Randy McDonald, who is now coming up on traffic.
McDonald has accomplished what he wanted to accomplish here in the early going. He has led a lap, picked up the 5 bonus points toward the championship, but he may have his hands full now. 2 abreast lap traffic dead ahead for the AC DELCO Buick of Randy McDonald.
David, it's exactly the attack that Randy had told us he would make at Mosport here today. So far, his game plan is going according to schedule.
Well, exactly right. He had an advantage in the early going. He started 10th. Robbie Crouch started 20th. A good opportunity for him to get out in front. Yellow flag is on the speedway. Caution flag is out as we've had a problem. That's the Dave Taylor automobile, who is minus a right front tire.
Looks like that tire went and has since been whittling away at the bodywork. He's literally tearing away his front segments of the car here, David.
Dave Taylor from Port Perry, Ontario, the black car, 4th in line in your picture, racing behind Bill Zardo Jr. Oh, and you can see that right front just gave away, and Taylor did a nice job to keep that car off the wall.
Actually, he did. He maintained nice control. The crew are all over him right now. The hood may have to go as well. Certainly, they'll replace the tire, and he should be back in a moment. Current leaders again, 0-1, Randy McDonald is in front where he wants to be. ROLLIE McDonald behind him. Then Zardo Sr. will be back. Don't go away. Jim Paulson back with Dave Moody for the GM Motorsport 200 at Mosport, and we're ready for a restart, David.
Randy McDonald on the inside, ROLLIE McDonald on the outside. Green flag is out. They are racing at the start-finish line. Randy McDonald with that advantageous inside groove. ROLLIE goes high, slams the wall in car number 13. Field takes evasive action. Kevin LePage goes high in the 21. And ROLLIE McDonald has really taken a shot.
Isn't that something? ROLLIE's had a problem in that corner 1-2 area pretty well throughout the day, and finally it caught him.
Well, he has really got a problem now. The right side of that car is badly damaged. The frame, I am sure, is badly bent. Let's see what happened. Randy McDonald down low in the 01. ROLLIE up high in car number 13. And ROLLIE with a burst of horsepower has the lead as they go into turn 1, but just too much power and too little traction. The rear end breaks loose, a slide for life, and a hard impact on the concrete.
Okay, ROLLIE after this incident brings the car around. Obviously he's going to try to get back to pit road, but you look at the damage here, and I doubt that he's going to be back, David.
Well, the flat right front tire, the right front wheel is pointing in the wrong direction. The rear end is definitely bent by the way the car is vibrating. McDonald goes right on by his pit area, and I think he's going to go right behind the wall. The end of the day for the Maritime champion, ROLLIE McDonald from PICTOU, Nova Scotia.
So he knew immediately. Now this is going to be a whole flurry of pit stops here, and look at this. Robbie Crouch, hopeful for this title, comes in along pit road.
And this is not scheduled service. The hood is up on the Rent-A-Wreck Buick Regal. Crew Chief Carl Osha, Brian Latouche go under the hood, looking for problems there. They're telling him to shut the motor down. Crouch shutting the motor down, and this could be a serious problem. They've got a plug wire off. One of the plug wires has come off the distributor. The crew member will put it back aboard, and he should be set to go.
Robbie Crouch now getting back to the battle, and let's have a quick glimpse here of Jean-Paul Cabana, who in fact 2 more victories. He'll have a total of 500. He'd love one today.
Glenn, Robbie came in. What happened?
We had a plug wire come off on the out of the distributor, so he's only running on 5 cylinders.
So you're falling back, unfortunately, a little bit. Are you going to be able to make up some ground?
We hope so. It's back to 6 cylinders now, so we should go as good as we were.
How's the car hooked up?
Right now, it's going good. He says it feels real good, but after he lost the cylinder, it was pretty weak.
But you pretty well got enough gas now, you figured to take it?
Yeah, no doubt about it, yeah.
So you're going to go all the way now?
Yeah, we're going to go the distance now.
Well, Robbie Crouch, one of only 2 6-cylinder cars in the field, can't afford to lose a third.
Robbie not the only one with bad luck along that pit area, because Jean-Paul Cabana has now gone down 1 lap. That's going to hurt his chances today.
While we've got a moment, let's break away and check the Priority Courier up close with Tom Curley.
In racing, the glory goes to the driver. The crew seldom gets the credit for their effort, and it's always the fault of the car when something goes wrong. But the person who literally has the most difficult job is the race director. He's the bad guy, the enforcer, and represents the law and the rules on the track. The GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series has such a man in Tom Curley, the president of the American Canadian Tour.
ACT was designed 5 years ago to try to organize, promote, and basically set up scheduling and a common set of rules and race procedures to run late model races throughout New England and most of Canada. As a sanctioning body, we basically represent GM Canada as far as the national series goes up here for 10 races in Canada. And then we have another group of 10 races down in the States that we represent on behalf of some other sponsors.
A race director must be trusted and respected by his drivers and crew. This trust and respect is earned, and Tom Curley has put in many years on and off the track.
I think the National Stock Car Series will finish its second year this year and come of age for 1991. I think we're ready to do another expansion move. We're really looking hard now at going out west and perhaps as far as Calgary for an event.
Father Tom, as he is affectionately known by the racing community, delivers emotional pre-race pep talks to reinforce the ideals of the American Canadian Tour. Ideals which are safety, sportsmanship, and to deliver a good show to the fans. This winning philosophy has proven successful now, and we anticipate a bright future with Tom Curley's American Canadian Tour.
Pace car is back on the field. Randy MacDonald will be the pole sitter as they go back to green. Let's check in on pit road with Michael.
Doc MacDonald, Randy's doing really well.
Yeah, our AC DELCO Buick's really running strong today.
So he's really hooked up. You going to come in for gas and tires?
I imagine we'll make a next stop and let you be in for gas and tires, clean the windshield and let them go again.
What's the report on the track conditions?
Track is good, really good. We're running good and strong. Everything's working excellent, so we're hooked up real well.
Looks like you're on a good ride to the podium.
Well, anything can happen. It's a long race.
How true those comments are, Doc. The pace car is off, and Randy MacDonald, in fact, has an advantage on the green in the restart.
Side-by-side battle for second. The two of BUZZIE BEZANSON using that low groove to get underneath Claude Leclerc in car number 11. The man on the move, Russ Erlin, car number 8, diving down to the inside of turn 3. He picks up the number 3 spot.
Well, suddenly Russ Erlin becomes a factor here at Mosport. We haven't seen too much of him up to this point, but the man is now sitting just back of our race leaders. I think he wants to get in front here.
Well, Russ Erlin, the defending GM Series champion, has been off the trail for a month or so, and he's a bit of an unknown quantity here today. He's got a brand new car, a brand new motor, even a new look, a different paint scheme, different lettering on the car, but it's the same old Russ Erlin on the racetrack. He is up front and challenging on the outside for the runner-up spot.
You know, BUZZIE BEZANSON is going to have a problem here. He gives him a little nudge there, a little shoulder to kind of hold Russ Erlin off, but no, Russ has got him in the back straight.
Erlin doing it the hard way, goes to the outside and powers around BUZZIE BEZANSON. Erlin now in the budget rent-a-car Chevrolet up to the number 2 spot. BEZANSON drop kicked back to 3rd. In the 4th position, it's Claude Leclerc, followed by the Alan Long machine.
Complexion suddenly changing here at Mosport in this event, the GM Motorsport 200. Erlin had domination earlier this year on the Sand Air track and now has a go at Randy MacDonald.
Russ Erlin is all over the AC DELCO Buick. He is not making it easy on Randy MacDonald at all. I'm not sure what the approach would be if I were Randy MacDonald right now. He's led his lap. He's got the bonus points he wanted. Certainly doesn't want to tire the car out holding off Russ Erlin, but if he can do it, he's going to do it. I know Randy MacDonald, and he's a racer.
So what you're saying is it might even be wise to let Erlin by, who almost made that attempt there. Now as they come through corners 3 and 4, Russ is in tight again on Randy MacDonald. They come down the front straight. Will he have a go in 1 and 2?
Erlin right down on the bottom, can't make a run at it. Randy MacDonald has got a lot to lose here. Russ Erlin does not. He's not in the running for the championship. He's racing for the win only. But Randy MacDonald doesn't want to get too cautious because Robbie Crouch has squared away that plug wire problem, and he's coming back through the field.
Now, by the way, BUZZIE BEZANSON and Leclerc are not letting these two get away. Oh, look at this. Erlin makes a move again, thinks better of it, now comes to the outside.
Russ Erlin is all over the back bumper of Randy MacDonald, looking high, looking low, gives him a little little bump now and then through the corners. Those two are putting on a great battle right now. MacDonald in the 01, Erlin in the 8, then in hot pursuit, BUZZIE, BEZANSON, and Claude Leclerc, and you can see it's a 4-car breakaway right now.
I think BUZZIE and Leclerc are going to sit here and wait and see what happens. Let these two maybe figure it out in front, and then they'll sort out what their attack may be. Erlin decides, okay, let's try the outside again, and he pokes the nose in past MacDonald.
Russ Erlin handling better on the top side of the racetrack than anyone we've seen today. He pulls alongside MacDonald, but Randy gets the break down the front straightaway and leads it again. Into turn 1, again, up on the outside is Russ Erlin. Whoa, almost loses it. We almost saw a repeat of the Rollie MacDonald incident as Erlin got in awfully hot.
You know, in fact, BUZZIE almost got by that time. Now that Erlin has refound it, he is going to continue this pursuit, but maybe a little more guardedly this time, David.
Well, I guarantee he, like Rollie MacDonald before him, has a bit more respect for turn 2 than he had a couple of laps ago, but I don't expect him to call off the attack. He is reeling in Randy MacDonald one more time, a spin in turn 4. Al Long in car number 76, who had been running in the top 5 or 6 positions, goes around for the second time this afternoon.
He's had continuing problems here at Mosport today. It brings out the yellow, and that's going to tighten up this field, although it couldn't have been much tighter than when we last left the Erlin MacDonald war out front.
Let's take a look and see if we can find out what happened to Alan Long. Field racing single file. Long getting together with, I believe, the 09 of Robbie Thompson. Bill Zardo Jr. taking evasive action. There's Robbie Crouch right in the thick of things. Crouch fighting his way back through the field, had a close call as well.
Okay, Alan Long, number 76, brings the car around. No major damage there. He doesn't even come in along pit row, so even the tire is not a concern at this point.
Field quickly crosses over to the columns of 2, and they are set for a restart. MacDonald on the inside, and now Russ Erlin side by side in the low groove. Let's see what he can do. Green flag is out. Erlin gets the break on them into turn number 1.
Let's go in car with Randy MacDonald here. We'll get the view from the Sony Handycam, and he's by. Erlin is by and flying away.
Russ Erlin with a burst of horsepower coming off the top of turn number 2, and the Budget Chevrolet takes over the lead. Erlin out of 4 and down the front straightaway, has a car length, maybe 2 in hand over Randy MacDonald. Russ Erlin, once he got the lead, is really beginning to pull away quickly.
Now, is BUZZIE BEZANSON going to have a go at the 01 of Randy MacDonald? I wonder, because Randy is now dropping off it, Erlin beginning to run away.
Let's take a look at that change of leadership one more time as they come down to the line for the green flag. Erlin with all kinds of horsepower under the hood. That'll happen when you've got a brand new motor underneath there. Erlin gets the advantage going into turn 1 and just hangs on for dear life in that high groove. A few laps ago, we saw Rollie MacDonald write one off on the wall, but Erlin stays right on line, pulls MacDonald down the back chute to take the lead.
So there it is, the brand new car, number 8, Russ Erlin. Does it again in Canada. He is our race leader at Mosport this time.
Now he's got 5 car lengths as he continues to pull away from Randy MacDonald. MacDonald with a rear view mirror full of BUZZIE BEZANSON right behind BEZANSON, the number 11 of Claude Leclerc. And don't count Leclerc out. He's one of those cagey veterans that never wastes the car until the final 50 or 60 laps when he's got a habit of coming right to the front.
In fact, Leclerc at this point is right up on BEZANSON. All you need is one little bobble, and you know the man behind you is going to make a move, especially when they're running this close, David.
A bit further back in the pack, out of the picture still. Whoa, trouble in turn number 4. Bill Zardo Sr. spinning, cars taking evasive action. Zardo sitting broadside at the top of the corner, trying to refire the machine. He puts the field back under yellow.
A lot of fans have been disappointed in that spin. Zardo had a marvelous run a little earlier in this event today. He has been dropping off the pace. Entire field come in for pit stops now. Russ Erlin, our race leader in number 8. Randy MacDonald, 01 is second. Then BEZANSON, Leclerc, and look at Williams back in 5th. We're back for the GM Motorsport 200 at Mosport, and the competition continues along pit row. The crew all over Randy MacDonald's car. He's going for the championship here. And, of course, the other hopeful for that title is having his problems as well, number 48, Robbie Crouch. But Robbie's got a real fight today.
Indeed he has, and for the second time this afternoon, that was anything but a customary pit stop for Robbie Crouch. Before they were under the hood, now it's under the rear end. Of course, Robbie Crouch's team is the best in the business, as we saw a little bit earlier on today. Robbie Crouch's car number 48 team and crew chief Carl Osha took down the first ever championship in the GM Parts National Pit Stop Competition. The top 5 teams from the season-long competition moved on to a special championship round of 2 pit stops apiece. The Crouch team with an 18.0 seconds clocking in their first round will try and improve on that here in the second. That 18 flat was the best pit stop not only of the day but of the year so far, and they have got the lead after 2 rounds of the 3. The car is down, they are away, and another excellent stop. A total combined time of 36.8 seconds, 18.8 for their second spot, and that is going to make them very difficult to beat for the GM Parts National Championship.
Well, obviously, this crew and the family are ecstatic about Robbie Crouch's performance, and there's the lineup.
Kevin LePage's team with an outstanding stop finish, just 0.7 of a second behind.
Now back to the race action here at Mosport. Field are lined up very nicely for the restart, and that is Russ Erlin, number 8 in front, and beside him, BUZZIE BEZANSON, ready for the green.
Well, BUZZIE BEZANSON facing a do-or-die situation now. He's trapped on the outside. He can't give it much of a run. Whoa, we've got trouble on the front chute. Andre Beaudoin's number 77, 2 cars hard into the outside retaining wall. Randy MacDonald with the hand up, signaling the drivers behind. 77, Andre Beaudoin, 15, Derek Lynch have taken a vicious ride into the turn 1 wall.
Andre with a tremendous amount of damage there, more perhaps than what Derek Lynch has experienced. Both cars there. We've not seen the drivers move as yet, David.
Well, Andre Beaudoin is moving around, and there he's coming out of the car. Derek Lynch also moving in that machine, gives a nod to Andre Beaudoin, but those are 2 badly damaged race cars. Let's see if we can find out what happened. It looked like the 77 of Beaudoin made contact with somebody on the front chute. Oh my, both cars straight on, nearly full throttle into the wall. Oh, and the parts fly. My goodness, that car of Andre Beaudoin was just turned into a $60,000 paperweight.
You know, that was almost unbelievable. It's as if Andre just went directly straight on into the wall. I don't know whether he may have lost the steering or whatever, but he certainly took Derek Lynch with him.
Well, I think you're exactly right. Andre Beaudoin may have brushed the inside retaining wall after making contact with another car, and you know, sometimes you can tell a man's frame of mind just by the way he walks, and Andre Beaudoin is not a happy man.
Leaders back in along pit row, and they're working under the rear end again of Robbie Crouch. Let's go to Michael in the pit.
Andre, what happened out there? A little bit of a mishap.
Yeah, but I think the 09 don't want to lose some position on the restart, and he tried to go the inside more too fast, I think, and we touched together. We tried to put the car back on a good lane, you know, and I don't know what happened in the front end when I touched him, but something broke and I hit the wall real bad.
Are you okay? Because that was quite a bang.
Oh, yes, I'm okay.
So unfortunately, you're out for the day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Andre Beaudoin as well out of the race here today.
So Beaudoin and Derek Lynch meet an untimely end in this one. Russ Erlin still leads it. Claude Leclerc, BUZZIE BEZANSON, Steve Knowlton, and Ron Sauter the top 5. Crouch and MacDonald back in the 11th and 12th positions.
Derek, you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay, Mike.
What happened out there, Derek?
The 9 car and the 77 got together in front of me, and they kind of bobbled a bit, and I went high, and I guess the 77 just quite didn't get straightened out, and we made contact, and we just got up into the wall.
That was a really rough hit. We heard that very loud down on the track.
Yeah, I got on the brakes, but she didn't seem to be slowing down too much. We hit her a fair poke, but I'm all right, so.
So I guess unfortunately out for the day then.
Yeah, I think so. I'll have to get her back together and go to Beach Ridge in a couple weeks.
Derek Lynch unfortunately out for the day, but he's all right here in pit lane.
Back to what should be another green and a restart here. Again, Russ Erlin and BUZZIE BEZANSON lead the field by.
Make or break time for BEZANSON, and this time he can't even give it a run. Erlin just drives away on that inside line. He has the lead. The 5A, Jean-Paul Cabana, is 1 lap down to the field. He lost a lap early in the pits. BEZANSON holds on to the number 2 spot. But right now, Russ Erlin threatening to run away with it. Just 1 lap in the record books after the restart. He's already up by 5 car lengths.
And you know, considering the yellow so far, I guess the one gamble that Jean-Paul Cabana has here is if he can maybe catch Erlin, try to get ahead of him, he'll be a little bit in better position if that other yellow should occur here.
Well, so far, catching Russ Erlin appears to be out of the question for J.P. Cabana. He can't can't even stay with Russ Erlin, but then again, nobody has this afternoon. Erlin has come from deep in the pack, worked his way through methodically, took the lead, now is driving away. Here's a change for the number 2 spot. The red and white car, number 4, Ron Sauter, one of the local late model stock car competitors, getting under BEZANSON, gets sideways in 2, and here comes BEZANSON storming back for second.
You know, Sauter seems to know how to ride this track. He was throwing the rear end out there. Mind you, BUZZIE gets back by him, but Sauter, a bit of excitement here, and certainly unexpected as Kevin LePage now makes a move.
Man, some great racing going on for second, third, and fourth. BEZANSON and Sauter swapping spots not once but twice. Then Kevin LePage in the Ford Thunderbird drives under both of them in turn number 3. So LePage now second, BEZANSON third, Sauter all the way back to fourth. Look at LePage right on the bottom of the track, a daring move for car number 21.
And he does that beautifully. Nips here directly in front of BEZANSON, and of course Sauter says, oh no, I'm going to stay away from this one.
Well, Ron Sauter, one of the local drivers, a bit down on horsepower, but having a good run this afternoon. There's Kevin LePage in the 21, Buzzie BEZANSON in the 2, and look who's back. Robbie Crouch in car number 48. He's repaired his problems. He is back in the running, and here's BEZANSON back under LePage one more time, and he'll lead Robbie Crouch and Claude Leclerc through.
I didn't know what. I wasn't sure if Kevin LePage knew exactly how to deal with this one. Leclerc dives into the corner nicely, and again BEZANSON still nicely holding off Robbie Crouch.
And Robbie Crouch is showing some smoke off car number 48. The Rent-A-Wreck team has been under the rear deck of that machine a couple or 3 times this afternoon. The word from pit road, a leaky rear end cover on that machine. And the big question now, how much fluid have they lost out of that car? Because if that rear end runs dry, you'll know it immediately. The thing will not go very far.
Look at this though, Robbie, despite he must know what the problems may be with the car, and yet he still has a go at BEZANSON. And now Buzzie will have a go here at Cabana.
Cabana, the lapped car. BEZANSON goes high, and Crouch says thank you very much, moves right underneath to take away the spot. John Paul Cabana, again, a lap down, but a real fly in the ointment for the front runners because he's as fast as anybody out there.
You know, it seems if they do get off that race line, they really can go astray. It did not help Buzzie at all that last time by Jean Paul Cabana now, doing what he can to at least keep Robbie Crouch behind him.
Well, the only driver we've seen all afternoon long go to the high side and have any kind of continual success has been Russ Erlin. And right now he's got a huge lead, nearly a half track in hand over the second, third, and fourth place battle. Let's see what Robbie Crouch can do on the outside. He'll take a shot at Cabana up high as they hit turn 3.
You know what, this time Robbie looks a little more in order. In fact, well, he swings out high, of course, but nope, he's still got the advantage on Cabana there, and he gets by.
Well, that's the advantage of the V6 powered race car. They have a little bit of a weight break, handle better in the corners. Crouch smoking rear end at all is going to be a factor in this thing.
You know, it seems that Crouch is just not going to slow down. He's going to drive this car into the ground. He is not going to stop it, David.
Well, Robbie Crouch, a 5-time champion on the American-Canadian Tour. Not only that, he's finished second 4 other times in the 12-year history of the series. So Robbie Crouch knows what it's like when you get down to championship time. There's Russ Erlin in car number 8. He is lapping the Randy MacDonald machine. MacDonald, the 6th place automobile, now is a lap down.
Okay, there's Randy MacDonald. We get a view as he almost drives Russ off the course.
Oh my goodness, there was a heart stopper for the race leader and for the would-be champion as they get together in the corners. Russ Erlin very nearly brought it around. And I'll tell you what, if Erlin had spun, guess who would have inherited the lead? Robbie Crouch, plus the 5-point bonus. That could well have made him the champion.
You know, I can't see Randy wanting to be that aggressive in this situation if he realizes how this little game of car chess is going at this point.
Well, Russ Erlin came up upon a lapped car in the worst possible area of the racetrack, right in the apex of the corner. I think he came off the throttle, got on the brake momentarily. Randy MacDonald, the furthest thing from his mind, is getting tangled up in a wreck right now and did a good job keeping from hitting Erlin even harder than he did. But Erlin now looks in the rearview mirror and says, enough of this, I'm getting away. 5, 6, 7 car lengths in hand over MacDonald.
I don't know what it is about these Canadian crowds for Russ Erlin, but boy, it does get his adrenaline running. He's missed out on a few of the runs this season. Obviously, he's trying to prove that he's still a contender.
White flag is out. This is it for Russ Erlin. He leads by nearly a half track over Robbie Crouch in second. He can almost get out and walk it home from here. There's Randy MacDonald following Erlin down the back straightaway. And by our unofficial calculations, if MacDonald stays right where he is, he'll be the GM champion. Checkered flag coming out. Russ Erlin wins the GM Motorsport 200.
Isn't that something? And for a nice little photo shot of the finish there, Randy McDonald decides to pull up by Russ and scoot across that finish line and gave the appearance of being second.
And just now, Robbie Crouch and Claude Leclerc crossed the line in second and third. A dominating performance for Russ Erlin this afternoon.
We're back at the winner's circle for the GM Motorsport 200 at Mosport International Speedway. Randy McDonald is the champion. The race winner is Russ Erlin.
And boy, there is a load off the shoulders of the youngster from Oshawa, Ontario, Randy McDonald. And look who's the first man over to say congratulations, Robbie Crouch, the man he nosed out for the title in 1990. Let's go downstairs to Russ Erlin.
Russ Erlin, congratulations. The GM Motorsport 200 here at Mosport. You've got the win. Unfortunately, you're handing the title over to Randy McDonald, but it must be a good feeling just the same.
Well, you know, it was my decision not to run all the races this year. I had some chassis and engine trouble, and I took a couple weeks off. I took a holiday, went boating, and spent some time at home with my family, and then I turned around and I put together this beautiful machine from distance racing, and I've got a brand new diamond engine in it, and boy, I tell you, it's a combination and a half. That and a crew that work together, and a sponsor, John Thompson. Boy, I can't be the happiest guy in the world.
Russ, congratulations, and are we going to see you in 91?
You're going to see me in 91 on a limited schedule. My intentions right now are to run the GM Motorsport Series from start to finish and selected act races.
So Russ Erlin wins the battle, Randy McDonald wins the war. Erlin takes the GM Motorsport 200 over Robbie Crouch, Claude Leclerc, BUZZIE, BEZANSON, Kevin LePage, and Randy McDonald with that number 6 finish, 1 lap down to the leader, but it was more than enough to take down the 1990 GM Motorsport National Series title. Ross Haugh from GM Canada making the official trophy presentation. That's got to be a big load off the mind of Randy McDonald.
And beyond Randy McDonald, the series champion, there's Robbie Crouch in second with 6:49, then Bill Zardo Sr., BUZZIE BEZANSON, and the remainder, of course, of the top 10 here. And salute to all of them. They've made it an exciting 1990.
Well, a spectacular finish to a spectacular season. The 1990 GM Motorsports National Stock Car Series title goes to Randy McDonald and Jim Paulson. They couldn't have decided it in any more dramatic fashion than happened here today.
There's no question. It was an exciting race. Maybe not one of Randy's better, but the key is that he held on to the championship, the GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series Championship, and that was really what you were after today, I guess, Randy.
I tell you, it's tough. I guess that's what championships are all about and why people come to watch us race. But, you know, we've been sweating it the last few weeks. We had a pretty good lead in the last 3 races. It just kind of dwindled down to nothing. And so we give it the best effort today. And this is, you know, we're really happy and like to thank General Motors for supporting this great series.
And a dramatic shot to close the series. There's 0-1, Randy McDonald, our GM Motorsport National Stock Car Series champion. Beside him in this shot, the winner of this race at Mosport in number 8, of course, Russ Erlin out of London, Ontario. What a year it has been. It'll be hard to top in 91. For Dave Moody and Michael Charbon, I'm Jim Paulson, and we'll be back next year. The GM Motorsport Hour, brought to you by General Motors of Canada Limited and by Quality GM Parts, Priority Courier, and Sony of Canada.
And what a team here! Whoa, we got